Hello, and welcome back to the Creative Differences podcast. I'm Dallas, and I'm concerned that Colin is missing and Gabby might be hallucinating.
Hi, I'm Gabby, and Colin, where are you? We're so concerned. Call us back.
Call us back. Or text us, because
Yeah,
it's
send us a
2021.
text.
Yeah, nobody calls anybody anymore. Anyway.
That's true. Or like, remembering Community when Donald Glover's character was like, "Oh no, she still uses her."
She was born in the 80s. She still uses her phone as a phone.
Yes.
Yes, welcome back to Creative Differences, your one-stop shop for movie reviews, Throwback Thursdays, Fancast Fridays, whatever else Demi says in the intro usually. Also, she's not here. She tried to hit a lick on a hot Cheeto truck and she got locked up. So, Demi is gone. Colin is somewhere, presumably. But yeah,
Gosh, I hope he comes back to us.
that would be ideal. Anyway, before we get into this episode, please like and subscribe so we can build an audience and, put out a search party for our friends.
Yeah, please. It'll make my existence a lot nicer if we can make money from this.
Same. Anyway, today we're talking about Reservation Dogs.
See.
Not to be confused with Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, which I do constantly.
Gabby constantly calls the show Reservoir Dogs. So we're going to see how many times that happens.
The count is at 0 so far.
0. Yeah, we're doing good. Less than 2 minutes in. No Reservoir Dogs.
Yes.
All right. The show, Reservation Dogs, created by Sterling Harjo and Taika Waititi. It stars Devery Jacobs, DeFero Woon-A-Tai, Lane Factor, and Paulina Alexis.
That is true.
That is true. Those are the characters. No, those are the actors in the show. IMDb summary. Oh my God, what's wrong?
Sorry, I just realized. Okay, that's why she looked so familiar. Devery Jacobs.
Yes.
She was in one of my favorite movies from Canada about like Native American, and it's called Rhymes for Young Ghouls. She's the main character in it. That's why she looks so familiar to me. I was like, I know her. I know her from something.
I saw that on her something. What is that?
IMDb. Rhymes for Young Ghouls.
Yeah.
It's a depressing ass movie about life on the res for a Native girl, but she's like angry with like law enforcement and stuff. So like it's like her battle against racist law enforcement. Oof, it's so sad. It's so sad.
Well, this is
not that.
Not always sad.
Yeah.
For context, Gabby has seen 3 episodes, right, Gabby?
Yes, 3 episodes.
I finished the show. Colin finished the show and then disappeared. And I think Demi finished it. I don't know. She got locked up for the chip truck thing, so we'll never know. Anyway, IMDb summary says a comedy series about 4 Native American teenagers growing up on a reservation in eastern Oklahoma. I feel like the IMDb summaries are getting more and more like
vague,
basic.
Oh,
yeah. Because remember when they were like calling people ugly and saying weird, like editorializing? I think maybe they decided we'll just tell you the bare minimum of what's in the show and where it takes place, which that's fine.
Yeah, they're like simplifying it so that no one can be mad at what they accidentally or not said.
I'm trying to remember who they called ugly. It was what movie was that?
It was one of the movies we watched fairly recently.
Yeah,
it was like in the last like 6 months.
Dang it, there's too many. I'm not gonna remember. But anyway,
we'll find it.
So 3 episodes in, what do you think of the show?
I think it's delightful. It's giving me it's giving me like vaguely Atlanta vibes, like on the edges of it, especially the cinematography and just how kind of much of like it's a comedy, but with like a heavy feeling to it. So it's very much a dramedy, or like even when it's being funny, you're like in the corner, in like the back of your mind, you're like, this is a dramedy. So that's the vibe that I'm getting. It's hilarious so far and sweet and heartbreaking. And I'm only 3 episodes in. It's like got tinges of heartbreak. Like you can tell the characters have been through, like you get like little snippets of what the characters have been through, and that kind of like colors every one of their decisions and all of their like sort of expressions, just knowing that they've been through some real sad stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. I agree with everything you said and more, because having seen the whole season, it's going to get more of everything. It's going to get funnier. It's going to get sadder. It's going to be more heartbreaking. It's going to be weirder. You got a lot of stuff ready. It's coming at you.
Right.
Yeah. It's mostly a fun time. But like you said, you can kind of get the feel something happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a spoiler to say that they lost one of their friends before the show started because they talk about it a lot, including in the beginning of the show.
Like immediately, as soon as possible.
Right. So the show is, like you said, it's tinged with that sadness of something happened to this group of kids. We don't know exactly what happens until later on in the show, but they're just trying to deal. But also, you get stuff like them stealing a chip truck and then selling the chips.
And like one of them making the other put their seatbelt on.
Oh yeah, during the heist. Yeah,
but then you find out later what happened to. Well, I don't know exactly what's happened to their friend, but they've lost a friend. You find out immediately after, so you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, don't want to lose no friends.
Yeah, no more friends lost.
Yeah, I think the show is another example of why FX is one of my favorite networks because they'll let you do whatever you want. Like they never stifle the weirder stuff that creators want to do, whether it be Atlanta and Teddy Perkins and an invisible car. In the woods, or Legion, and that entire show. Its entire run. Everything about that show is
it's wild.
I watched the whole first season every week. I was just thinking, man, they let y'all go crazy with this one.
But it's like you have to have a room for that somewhere for the craziness so that everybody else can start catching up and realizing that, oh wow, they've got something going on. Also, like they had You're the Worst on, which was like a show about horrible people, and like they originally were where like It's Always Sunny was.
Right, yeah.
So like they kind of just let their creators go ham.
And I love it.
Yeah. Because you need room for that so that like people can see that, hey, there's an audience for your weird shit. And networks can see, okay, well, they have a successful model that this is actually possible, right?
Yeah, I rock with it. And this show gets weird too. Like at some point, a dude might try to stop a tornado with an axe, and he might succeed. The jury's still out on that.
That sounds like a cheese adventure.
Oh my God. Speaking of Cheese and Willie Jack are in a constant battle for my favorite character in the show. Cheese is just he's sweet and
just kind of lets life happen to him.
Yeah, he's not one of the,
like
the leaders.
He got peer pressured into an eye exam and like just let it. That was his day. It didn't like make it worse or better. It was just like, this is now part of my day. I love Cheese. He's so great. Sweet. And Willie Jack reminds me of a lot of like Latinas that I know. And so it just made me like feel really happy. It's just like, I know more than one someone that's a lot like you, Willie Jack. And I really like them. I like them so much.
Willie Jack is fantastic. So there's the four main characters. Yeah. There's Bear, Elora, Cheese, and Willie Jack. And Bear is, if the show has a main protagonist, we'll say it's Bear. Because Bear is the one seeing the spirit, and he's the one who we see his mom more often, like his home life.
Yeah, and we start the show with him.
Right. And then Elora is kind of, I don't know what, they don't really have like ranks, but Elora seems to be the one. She's like Katara, kind of.
She's the lieutenant.
She's like she kind of wants to keep everything together, but also none of them really have their stuff together. But relative to the rest of the group, I guess you could say it's Elora. And a lot of the show's drama centers around her.
Yeah, I'm getting that vibe.
Yeah, but that's one thing I will give the show, which if I didn't say already, I like it very much.
I feel like it's obvious that we both like the show.
Yeah, right? We both like the show. Shout out to Taika and Sterling.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point where I don't think Taika could make, like, I'm willing to watch anything that Taika makes. Yeah. Like, I'm just like, that it has Taika's name on it. Okay, yes, let's watch it. Like, like I don't care what, I don't need to know anything else. Like, he somehow made me like a Hitler comedy. Yes. So fucking let's do this.
I opted out of the Hitler comedy, but I did hear good things about it. I heard it's a very good movie.
It is. It'll break your heart.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
I'm fine. I'm fine without watching it. But I did watch this because his name was on it, and I'm glad I did. Shout out to Sterling. Shout out to Devry, DeFaro, Lane, Paulina, everyone else. Bobby Lee pops up at one point.
Yes.
That was great and random.
That whole scene was amazing, by the way, with Bobby Lee and Bear.
That was great.
Like, I had missed a part of it, and Eric was like, "No, no, no, we need to rewind this. You need to see this," and it was amazing.
What was I saying? Oh, yes. So I talked about how Allura kind of is the center of a lot of the drama in the show.
Yeah.
But what it does, and what you'll see, is that each character gets their own, at least an episode focused on them
Okay,
and
I
what they've
like
got
that.
going on. Yeah, so like we have a couple with Bear. We have Allura and her driving test, which is
Oh,
probably my favorite episode because of who pops up in it, which I was going to bring up. But now that you're watching the show, I'm not going to bring up, so it
yeah,
can be a
don't bring
surprise
it
for you.
up. Yeah, surprise.
But yeah, if you know, you know. That was great.
Mhm.
Willie Jack has an episode where she goes hunting with her dad, which is very, very
Oh,
heartfelt, but also still funny because that's what the show does.
I love Willie Jack.
She's great. Cheese has the episode with the cop, which I liked a lot more than I expected to.
Oh,
Because
Cheese?
yeah,
See,
you know the cop,
see,
big,
yes.
yeah.
I feel like Cheese, like I said, Cheese is just letting life happen to him. I feel like he didn't start the day thinking he was going to go on a ride along, but then he ends the day with a ride along. Is that the general vibe?
It's
You don't have to tell me if you're
okay.
like too spoilery.
You'll see it. It's an enjoyable episode. But yeah, they all have their moments to shine. They're all great. Willie Jack is just so much fun. The way she's ready for whatever. She's with it. She's about that action. Is the best way I can describe Willie Jack.
Yeah, I get that sense from her. I get that feeling. Like,
Yeah.
I love her so much. Yeah.
Also, one thing I love about the show, it's not really major to the plot, but it's something I noticed toward the end is that whenever somebody sees an image of white Jesus, they say, "Sup, white Jesus?" They always specify that it's white Jesus.
Yeah, because it is white Jesus.
Yeah, and I think Willie Jack is the first one to do it, but I was, oh, that's great, and that happens again later.
Oh, I'm gonna pay attention to that. I'm
Yeah,
gonna look for that. I'm gonna look for what's up, white Jesus.
"Sup, white Jesus?"
I
But yeah,
also
mm,
I love how like it seems like native culture is just like really casually woven into the show. Like people just
yeah,
be talking about the creator, and then it seems like there's some native slang thrown about.
yeah. There definitely is stuff that, like, they say "sko," which sounds like let's. I assume it's like
I
"let's go."
I think that's what
Right.
it's
And then
supposed to
they
be.
say other things that I'm not going to bother trying to say because I can't remember how they said it and I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
We don't appropriate here. But yeah, it's used in a way because, you know, the creators and people involved are tied to native culture. So they can just use it the way they use it. It doesn't need to be, hey, look, we're native.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
we're
Here it
people.
is. Or
Exactly.
like we're purposefully putting this in. No, it's just
Exactly.
like
And it
it's just
feels
people talking.
exactly. And it feels natural. But also you get some white people just sprinkled into the show every once in a while. The rival gang has a dude named White Steve who's very funny.
White Steve looks funny so far. But also they call every person that's white and then their name. Like what was the name of the guy at the store? It's like white something.
I
Like
can't remember.
again, they just call him white and then their name. Which honestly, easiest way to tell who you're talking
True. And I think it's great because, you know, in everything else, white is the norm or like the
about.
default based on most of American media.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh no, you're not Steve, you're White Steve
Yeah.
because you're
We have
white.
to you're other here.
Exactly.
But honestly, just a funny thing I want to point out because Latinos do this too. We have a special name in every culture for white.
Mm.
Like white, like if a kid comes out and they're just white looking
Mm-hmm.
and they came from like clearly very brown parents, we
Mm-hmm.
have like words for that. So like in El Salvador, it's chele. In
Okay.
Mexico, it's like güero.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that one.
So I just think it's funny that all in this culture that's like native, and then from our cultures which were like originally native, that we do still have that distinction between the whites.
Yeah.
Like I think that's funny.
But yeah, great show. It's getting a season 2, so I look forward to that.
Oh, it is.
It
Yay.
is. Yes, it got renewed. Also, dope soundtrack.
Yes.
There's always
Amazing
really dope
soundtrack.
music in the credits, often by native artists.
Yep.
Often by native rappers, and then I'll end up pulling out Shazam. I've never heard this song before, so now I have a few more songs to listen to.
I know like one native rapper, so I have to like see if he's in any of these.
Well, hopefully he is. Also, I
Yeah.
didn't realize that Redbone was a native group.
I did know that because I would look up their live performances.
Okay, that makes sense.
So they'll do like a dance or like a native dancer before their live performances.
Nice.
Or
Yeah.
as part of Come and Get Your Love. So that's why I
Right.
was like, "Oh, this is a Native American band, cool." And that's it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because Cheese's ride along episode is called "Come and Get Your Love," and I was like, "What?" So the song is in the episode. Oh, they're native. That's cool, cool,
Come
cool.
and get your love. It also
Yes.
explains their use of the name Redbone because that means something else in like Black American culture, right?
Right. So I was confused because I was like,
Yeah.
are they like light skinned women? Like they're clearly not. But
No, they
yeah, it's
are
a
native,
different
so
thing.
their bones are I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't know, but yeah,
We
it's a different meaning.
yeah.
Also shout out to the guy who plays the spirit. His name is Dallas Goldtooth,
Okay, I
which
need
I
to
love.
I've seen him in something and I don't know what it is.
I don't know, but his name is Dallas,
Yay.
and I love that because that never happens. And also his name is Goldtooth, which is just gangsta as hell.
Yes, it is. Okay, let me
Apparently,
see.
he's part of a sketch comedy group called the
Yeah.
1491s.
Oh, he is. He's on Rutherford Falls as well. That's what it is.
Shout out to Dallas. Never get to say that.
Shout out to Dallas.
Anything else to say about Reservation Dogs before we move on?
It was delightful so far.
Yes.
I really like it. And once again, Taika Waititi, you're like 10 out of 10 for me, boo.
Yeah. Shout out to all involved. Also, you are going to cry, so be ready
Oh,
because
100%.
those later episodes are gonna hit.
Oh, no, no, no. I figured as soon as I got the general like tone, I was like, "Ooh, I'm crying." There's no way I'm not crying. I almost
Yeah.
cried in like episode 2 where he was like, your mama, she called me brother even though we're not blood brothers. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
real family. And I was like I'm like, "Oh god." Oh, hold it together.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun for you. So yeah, that's Reservation Dogs. We would recommend. We think it's great.
See.
Colin also likes it, and so does Demi. They're not here. We've covered that. Moving on
See.
to our next section. What you doing? What you watching? Gabby, you were trying to decide if you wanted to say anything about this or say anything for this section. What did you land on?
Yes, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, season 8, final season. It's currently coming out. I'm very, very slowly working my way through it because it's the last season. I really want to savor it. So
It
I'm
is.
up until I've seen up to episode 3.
Okay.
The next episode is episode 4. It's called PB&J. The whole show is out already by now.
Yes.
It has aired its final episode and it's super tragic because this show is hilarious. But I'm still glad that it's 8 seasons. It's a lot of seasons. It's plenty of seasons to keep rewatching and rewatching for forever and ever and ever. But that's it. And congrats to the cast. I know they did want it to end here. And congrats to NBC for another amazing comedy in your books.
It's true. I've seen the first 2 episodes. Feels like they have not lost a step. They're still hilarious. I still love Jake Peralta. For me, Jake Peralta and Rosa are like Willie Jack and Cheese as they go back and forth between being my favorite. Like Rosa is probably the best character, but
She's
Andy
amazing.
Samberg is just so funny and he's
He's
so goofy and his
yeah.
comedy is just it hits with me every time.
Yeah.
So it's hard to pick, but Rosa
Yeah.
is Rosa.
Yeah, she's the best.
Also,
She's terrifying and scary and in a great way.
the episode where they go to the lake house,
The
not a
second
lake house,
episode.
the lake house, yeah. And she's on those edibles is my favorite thing
Dude,
that
it
they've ever
was
done with Rosa.
right. It was amazing. I'm so glad she's not a cop. And she's like, dude, I just took a bunch of edibles.
The way that
Oh.
she keeps breaking out into laughter during the show.
And she has
Her
the best
is
laugh
so
because
good.
she goes,
Right. She's like, oh, I can't. Your vibe. This isn't the vibe I was looking for.
Yeah, she left.
She's fantastic.
Oh, the dude, that was amazing.
Also, to address the blue elephant in the room,
Mhm.
some people are like, I don't want to watch it because cops are terrible. Which, fair. Cops are terrible. But the show definitely takes its time to address that. Like the whole first episode
Yeah.
is, hey, we know that cops have been being bad for a long time. And we know we do a show about cops. And we know that's weird for some of you. We're going to have to address it yes, it's very on the nose, but obviously we have a message to get across. So we're going to get it across. And then we can get back to all the jokes and the haha and the kikis later.
Yeah.
But for now, you're going to have to get through this. And it's
Yeah.
still a good episode. Like they still have the
Yeah.
comedy there. It's just, oh, we're doing the very special episode.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And so originally when all this stuff was going down and all the protests were happening, they had already written the first 4 episodes of the season.
Right.
So once that happened, they scrapped the first 4 episode and rewrote the season, which is also why it was so late. It's because they were still writing it, right? So
Right,
they
which
kind
makes
of had to start
sense.
from scratch, which is why I also have to respect Brooklyn Nine-Nine because they backed up their own schedule to address this.
Yeah,
So,
which is great. Like, it's great that's a show with such a big following on such a big network with such big actors decided to take the time to address this, not just like subtly or casually, but like full on address it. Like
yeah.
they say George Floyd's name, they talk about cops
Mhm.
doing this, this, and that. They did their thing. I respect it. And I think they put the
Same.
episodes out 2 at a time. I'm thinking of another.
They did that the first 2 weeks, and then they did 1 episode at a time.
Okay, because I
Because we
was.
got the first 4 episodes real quick, and then the last bit of it was 1, at least that's what I think.
Oh no, they just did it the whole way.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Which I thought was because when they said, "Oh, the final episode's coming out," I was like, "Wait, y'all just started? What's happening?" But
It's
they were doubling up, so it makes sense.
yeah.
Which also makes sense because you said they had to push it back because they had to rewrite and everything. So
Yep.
shout out to them. They did their thing. But yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Good show.
Amazing
Cops are
show.
bad, but the show is not.
Yep. And, that wasn't the first time they'd addressed, bad cops either. There
Right.
was
They
a
did
whole
the
episode
thing
with Terry
with
before
Terry,
that.
which is ironic because, oh, Terry, come back to us.
Anyway, Brooklyn
Anyway,
Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn
We got
Nine-Nine.
a bit of a downer for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but yeah, it's great.
It's
And
a
they
good
were
show. Fun time.
love them.
Shout out to Rosa. Shout out to everyone. Boyo wearing a kente cloth was so
Oh.
much. I have to bring this up. Do you remember on Sherman Showcase that song "Add Some Kente"? It sounds
Yes,
like
I
you do.
remember. Oh,
Okay,
yes, I remember.
it was it Congress? U.S. Democrats. We're doing something. I don't follow enough about politics, but this was after George Floyd happened, and they were wearing kente cloths.
Yes, I remember.
Okay, yeah, and I want to say "Add Some Kente" came out right before that, which makes it so much better. It's so great. But yeah, for those who don't know, Sherman Showcase is an amazing show. They made a song called "Add Some Kente," which is basically just, you know, add some kente cloth to whatever you're doing and show that you're down with black people. And of course, no one in Congress saw that and thought, oh, we would look ridiculous if we do this.
No one in Congress knows what Sherman Showcase is.
Exactly.
That's what it
Most
was.
people don't. But
Nobody.
man,
It's
it's
it's an
so great.
underground show that's just gonna keep quietly being renewed because it's so
Yes.
cheap to make,
And I
probably.
can't wait for the next season. But yeah, add some kente. So yeah, on to what I've been watching and doing.
Okay.
I have a new favorite YouTuber.
Ooh, tell me.
Yes, I'm so excited. So a few days ago, I was on Twitter, and someone that I follow, shout out to Terrence, aka New T Sage, he retweeted a YouTube video about the Weekenders. Gabby, have you seen the Weekenders?
I love the Weekenders.
Okay, thank you, because I've been asking everyone around me, have you
Do
seen the
people just
Weekenders?
does it feel like very Mandela effect for a minute there
No,
where they're like
not completely, but I've gotten answers varying from no to what is that to I think I know what that is. There's a kid named Tino, right? And that was the
oh,
most
Tino.
that was the most vindicating answer I could get. Like Kayla knows the show, but she doesn't
Yeah.
love it like I do. But I'm so glad you like it because I adore that show.
I love that show, and I
So
could
good.
never figure out when it was on, so I just only get to see it every once in a while, but
Yes.
ugh.
Also, side note, I have both seasons on DVD because Kayla got them for me. No, I think there are 4 seasons. Either way, I have the whole show on DVD.
Oh
So
my
at some point,
god.
we gotta watch
have
it.
to when I come to your house next time, we'll
Yes,
watch it. We have to watch
The
it. Oh
Weekenders.
my god. Love the Weekenders.
But anyway, yes, I adore that show, and not enough people talk about it, so I had to check out the video.
I just related super hard to who was the girl with the brown hair? I can't remember her name.
Tish.
But her parents were immigrants, and I related hella hard.
Tish is Amy Santiago, but instead of Latina, she's like Eastern European.
Of course.
So yes.
Of course I related to her the most.
You are a Tish. Which is funny because at some point in this episode's going to get derailed by me talking about the Weekender.
Yes.
But at some point, they make Tish a verb to refer to someone who's being like a know-it-all or like correcting someone. So they're like, oh, like, don't be such a tish, or like, like, why are you tishing? And they're like, what? But yeah, it's such a great show. Anyway,
oh god,
I had to check out the video, and the video is by a dude named Toonrific Tariq. If by some miraculous chance you are listening to this podcast, shout out to you. I've been binge watching your videos. You're hilarious. Keep up the good work. But yeah, I pressed play, and as soon as I heard dude's voice, I realized he was black, and I got excited.
Wait, is it just like an essay format show, or is it like a podcast that he put on YouTube?
This is like a video essay about the Weekenders. It's like, the title is Reliving for the Weekenders, because the theme song says I'm living for the weekend.
Aww.
Shout out to Wayne Brady, who sang the theme song. He's great. But yeah, the reason this excites me so much is because I listen to YouTubers talk about TV and movies all the time, but it's never the Weekenders, and they're very rarely black people. So it's like a bunch of white dudes talking about
the Weekenders.
Like, I don't know what they usually talk about is like, MCU.
Citizen Kane.
God, no. I don't do that. But yeah, it's the stuff that gets more shine already. So I saw somebody talking about the Weekenders, and I was already ready. And then he's black, and he's hilarious. So the theme song plays, and not only does he start singing along, he's like, all right, let's go, Wayne Brady. And he starts singing. But then he also edits in footage from Bobby Shmurda's Hot Nigga music video. I was like, I found a man after my own heart.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Like, this is going to be my favorite YouTube account. So I was excited to see a YouTuber who's into cartoons and hip hop the way I am into both. He uses hip hop beats as his background music, and he always credits what the song is. So like, yeah, dude is dope.
He a
real one. Speaking of which, he made a video called "Get Animated or Die Trying," in which he examines how hip hop is used in cartoons.
Oh,
yeah, it's dope as hell. It's like an hour, but by this point, I already loved him, so I was ready for whatever.
You were like, I'm gonna commit.
Yeah, and I love hip hop and I love cartoons, so the video was made for me. I am the target audience.
You are.
One thing about Tariq is that he's super funny, but he's also very analytical in a way that I didn't expect. I thought he was just going to crack some jokes and say, oh, this is dope. But he talks about a bunch of different things. He gets into the Weekenders and the different episodes about the emotional beats here and how they use this well and blah, blah, blah. Like, dude is dope.
Oh, wow.
But in the hip hop video, he talks about, do you remember Rappin' Draken in Kim Possible? It's the episode where Draken wants to sell shampoo to brainwash people.
Yeah.
And he makes that song Latherance and Obey. But then Ron in this episode makes the Naked Mole rap.
Yes.
Yes. So Tariq talks about how Draken, like he starts off saying, Ron's song is better than Draken's.
Yeah.
But beyond that, Draken is using hip hop as a tool to market. Like, this is a quote. He says, Draken uses hip hop as a tool to market. Ron uses it as a tool to articulate himself, because Ron is rapping about Rufus, which is something that actually matters to him. And I was like, yo, this nigga's spitting. Like, it's a really good point. And then he also says, yeah, that. And also, this nigga got bars, son. And he starts going into the Naked Mole rap. And he was like, yo, I remember this song had the streets for a while, but he was really going crazy.
Send me that video.
Oh, definitely. I'm going to share it with all of you.
The comedy.
It's so great. And yeah, I don't want to sit here and spoil all the jokes in his videos, but dude is dope. He also made a video. It's called How to Black, and it's an analysis of black cartoon characters. So it goes from like the Boondocks and, how that show is
Proud
black,
Family and stuff.
Made by black people. Yes. Versus shows like The Cleveland Show, a show about black people made by and voiced by white people. And, it's obviously not the same kind of vibe.
Nope. That comedy is for white people.
Yes, definitely. He made a video about, you've probably seen it because you went to school. Have you seen Our Friend Martin? Or My Friend Martin?
Yes.
Okay, so you remember it's the two kids, the black and the white kids, and then they meet Martin Luther King as a teenager, and it's a whole thing.
It's how racism in America was explained to me as a first
Exactly.
grader.
That's what I was saying. You
And
went to
they're
school,
like,
I'm sure you've seen
and
it.
we fixed racism. And I was like, sure. I don't know what that is. I'm brown.
But yeah, he did a video on that as well. He does stuff that it's just content I wouldn't get anywhere else. Like, he did a video on the Let's Nab Oprah episode of the Boondocks, in which the characters played by Charlie Murphy and Samuel L. Jackson try to kidnap Oprah.
Sorry.
It's so great.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so dude's hilarious, and he gives me content that I don't think I could find anywhere else on YouTube. And if I can, I will. But he's my favorite.
Oh.
Yeah. So shout out to Toonrific Tariq.
You're like, I've seen representation matters.
That's what it feels. I was like, oh my God, an actual, like, this is everything I need it to be. Also, dude, if you're listening to this, let me know because it will make me very
Oh,
happy to know that you heard
collab.
this. Oh, that would be
Collab.
so dope. He also does have a podcast I haven't gotten to yet because I've been watching all the videos. So yeah, that's what we've been doing and what we've been watching. Now we can talk about some news. News. All right, first things first. A bunch of white people won some Emmys.
Yep, only whites. Let's move on.
Before we move on, shout out to Ted Lasso. As I understand,
Yes.
Ted Lasso won a bunch of Emmys because it's amazing.
Did. If white people had to win, I'm glad it was those white people.
Right. Those are the whites I'm rooting for.
Yeah, those were the ones I was rooting for. I was actually rooting for a little bit for Brett Goldstein. I really wanted him to win. I really did.
He did.
I would have rather had somebody else win the other stuff, but it's okay. It's fine.
I mean, I'm glad. So it's funny because Demi and Colin were in the group chat, complaining justifiably about the Emmys so white and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And as someone who doesn't watch or care about the Emmys, I was like, well, let me see who won. And I was like, oh, snap. Shout out to Jason Sudeikis. Shout out to Brett Goldstein.
Yeah. So that's
Hannah
how
Waddingham.
I felt.
Yeah.
I felt like that, but especially because like in the comedy category, there wasn't as many people of color. But in the drama category, there was a lot of people of color that should have won.
I saw a lot of nominees of color, not a lot of winners.
Yeah. No, that's the thing is like, how do I put this? You can't just nominate POCs. You have to actually like engage in their art and then vote for them to win.
Yeah.
Because like, come on. Let's even the stakes here, guys.
Like, oh, we almost gave it to you. Like, that doesn't count, bro.
There's some categories that only have like one person of color's ever won that category. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
But yeah. Shout out to Ted Lasso and everyone involved. Currently watching season 2. It's dope.
Me too.
We will revisit it at the end of the year for our favorite shows because it's definitely going to be on my list.
Yes, it's amazing. And I showed it to my dad. He actually likes it because it's a soccer show. And I showed it to my mom because she's like, I think these people are nice. Like, let me lean in.
Yeah, it's so refreshing to have a show about nice people.
Yeah. And I think that's what Jason Sudeikis said. He said that he didn't think that somebody nice could be interesting. And that's the challenge of the show, right? Is he's making a very nice person interesting.
Yeah. And hilarious.
So funny.
But yes, speaking of white people, The Penguin is getting an HBOMax spinoff series in the universe of Matt Reeves' The Batman. Gabby doesn't care.
I'm like, okay, like what's interesting about this?
It's funny. The boat is conflicted because on one hand, The Penguin has never been a character that I've liked, but on the other hand, I do really like Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell is always dope.
Oh, it's gonna be Colin
I like Matt
Farrell.
Reeves. I would assume he's playing him in the movie, as far as I know.
Okay.
Like this is a spinoff of the movie that they're making with
with Colin Farrell.
Pattinson. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I like Colin Farrell. I like Matt Reeves. They are working on the show. I like Batman stuff. I'm probably gonna watch it. I have HBO Max, in a sense. Shout out to Gabby.
You're welcome.
But not officially. Officially, I'm paying it for myself. HBO, leave me alone.
Or HBO hire me so I can afford HBO now.
Yes.
Or Max or whatever it's called.
Any streaming service that hires me to write for a show, I will buy all their stuff. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be cool. I'm just happy that not only the POCs are being pushed to HBO Max, but no, this is a TV show, so it doesn't even count.
Yeah.
It doesn't count. You don't get this one HBO Max. But yes, speaking of studios, the Disney CEO, Bob something, said that talent deals are undergoing a reset after the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit. I don't know what that means.
What does that mean? It means we're going to find a way to screw you over.
I feel like what it means, hopefully, in my optimistic brain, is that they're going to actually work on the streaming things in terms of, hey.
Like actually denumerating?
Right. Like, oh, our movies are going to streaming. Maybe you should make some money off of the streams, which seems like the obvious solution.
Also, I want, how do I put this? See, that's something that I would be thinking about as an actor now in terms of like contracts, but also like figure out what kind of like, what is it called when you already paid for it? Royalties. What kind of royalties come out of there too?
Yeah.
Because you're going to keep this moving streaming forever. Okay, I want money per stream. Like every time it's streamed.
Exactly. Like you're going to keep making money off of me. Give me some money.
Yep.
But yeah, I haven't been following the whole thing because I'm not too particularly interested in rich white people arguing with each other about their money. Because I'm a poor black person. And I got time for that. So
that's fair.
Yeah, you guys can fight over your money however you want. Hopefully it works out for the actors
Yes, I hope it works out in their favor.
Yeah.
I
Disney
doubt that
Bob,
it will,
cut that check.
but
We'll see. And moving on, last piece of news is The Amazing World of Gumball is getting a movie and a new series.
woo! I've never watched that show.
I can't remember if I actually talked about this show on the podcast. Like,
I don't think.
enough, like, on a what we've been watching segment or
Oh,
whatever.
maybe.
I don't know, but the show is dope. I love that show. As far as like new cartoons go, cartoons that didn't come out when I was growing up,
Yeah.
it's probably my favorite.
Okay. Mine
It's
is Bob's
so
Burgers.
okay. Sorry, new
Children's
cartoon.
cartoon.
Yeah.
Got it.
Although I'm trying to think of adult cartoons that have come out since. I don't know. I don't have time to do all that. But the show is great. It's super funny. It went on some. I don't know if you would call it a hiatus or if they just canceled it. But I currently have not seen the whole show. I've been going through it with my niece, and then also without her when she leaves because I really like the show.
You're like, I'm not gonna wait for you.
Yeah, forget that. But yeah, it's great. I heard they were getting a movie. I don't know what that's gonna be, but I'm down to watch it. Same with the new series. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm down to watch it. I do know the guy who created it, Ben Boclet, which I think is how you say his name, is involved. So keep him in. Get one of the 8 kids who played Gumball and Darwin because they were actually children, so their voices started to change, and then they had to, get
So
new
they just
children.
had to keep replacing them. Oh,
Yes,
wow. I didn't
but
know that.
this
Wow.
show is so creative. I didn't mean to use this time to talk about that, but there's an episode about uh, Gumball and Darwin's voices and how they change. And then I can't remember exactly what they do. It's something super weird because the show gets extremely weird all the time.
Okay, yeah, because it's for kids, so they can do what the fuck they want. Kids will accept it.
Exactly.
Because they're like, all right.
But I believe that in the next season, like when they did the whole voice changing thing, I want to say that they used the original actors and like used their changing voices for the story. And at the end, they're like, our voices are different, but it was the different kid. It's such a good show. And it's
Wow.
ridiculous. And I love it. And I hope, 6 seasons in a movie or whatever Abed used to say.
Yeah. 6 seasons in a
6 seasons in a movie. Was you talking about the Cape or something?
I have no idea.
You're my community person.
The Cape? Was it
There's a
Cape?
show.
The Cape, or was it the Inspector Time?
I don't know.
Time Inspector Time something. I haven't watched Community in years though, so
Fair.
I am not a Community expert anymore.
You did get me into that show like
I did.
9 years
Like
ago.
forcibly. Like you were struggling. You were like, I don't think I'm gonna like it. And I'm like, you don't understand. I'm a little like show pusher though. I'll force people to watch things.
That's good though, because I love that show. It's great.
It's how I got all my cousins into actually any show my cousins are into, they forcibly were forced to get into it from me. And then later they go, I hate when you do that, but then you always show us a good show, so I can't be mad.
Fair.
I forcibly made them watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine and they were rolling on the floor laughing. Anyway,
I
let's
respect
move
it.
on.
All right, we are moving on to the end. That's everything. That's all our news. That's all our stuff.
Woo! We did it, just you and me.
Right? Just the two of us. I don't know how much you can sing
La la la
without
la
getting.
la la la. We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna leave it there.
That's good.
We're gonna,
Yeah.
yeah.
No one gets sniped by
Like whatever
whoever owns that song.
executive.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. My favorite thing I ever heard was that like Michael Jackson, like somebody describing Michael Jackson like owning the Beatles is like masters.
Right.
Anyway, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was amazing. And I
I
just
feel
felt
it.
that way right now. I'm like, whoever owns those masters can get mad at us.
They might. Oh well. Thank you, audience, for listening to all of that. Thank you to everyone who made the things we talked about today because it's all dope.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
As always, thank you to Crown Digital, Brandon, and IO for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. To me, thank you for editing and putting us on YouTube.
Sí, muchas gracias.
Gabby, thanks for being here with me because,
Woo,
somebody
I was
had to.
on
It's just going to,
time.
yeah, you were relatively on time, which is good enough at this point. But yeah, this was fun. You should do more one-on-one episodes. Forget Colin. Forget to me. I'm just kidding, guys. We love you.
Colin still hasn't responded. I'm so worried.
Yeah. Hopefully he's fine.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, because if not, me joking about it is going to age badly.
Yeah, it is. I really hope he's okay.
He better be.
So
Jimmy's going to have to
concerned.
cut all this out. Anyway, audience, what do y'all think of Rest Dogs? Do you like The Weekenders like we do? I'm so glad. Gabby, thank you so much for liking
Dude,
The
I
Weekenders.
got you. I got you. Vibe.
I needed somebody to vindicate me on that. Anyway, let us know in the comments or hit us on Twitter at y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast or Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. If you've got more dope YouTubers to recommend for me, preferably Black, hit me up on Twitter and or Instagram at @GameNamesInBook.
If you're like, oh my God, I'm so sad Brooklyn Nine-Nine is ending, you can hit me up on the Instagrams at Stegosaurus.
Yes, especially if you sound exactly like
Yeah,
that.
you have to sound like that.
Yeah, that's how you sound. Let us know.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yes, I don't know where you can find Colin, but if you do, let us know. And you can find Demi on Twitter at ResDoggyStyle. I know she's gonna cut that out.
She is.
Hi, Demi.
Love you.
Love you. All right. It's been different. Bye.
Bye.